Which means it is time for Ron the Car Guy from Westside Auto Pros. And as we always say around here, if it's happening, it's news to us. And that's exactly what Ron the Car Guy is going to be talking about this morning. And Ron, first of all, did you have a good 4th of July?
I did have a good 4th of July. Went up to Boone and watched the trailers races. I've never seen those live
Eve
before.
Of destruction.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, jumping cars with motorhomes, and there's definitely a shortage of some brain cells up there. There's
for us to
and
enjoy.
a good time that be had by all.
Yeah, and a great crowd and stuff up there. Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah,
well, good.
Yeah, I'd recommend that. You know, if somebody's looking for something to do next year when they do that, it was very entertaining, especially from a car guy standpoint.
Watch other people destroy things.
Yeah. It was interesting too. For $25, you can enter and go do a rollover in a car. I didn't do that. Again, I thought there were some brain cells missing, but. Yeah, kind of a crazy time up there, but a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Speaking of crazy times in the world of automobiles too.
Oh goodness, yeah. We had some interesting news stories and stuff that I know you guys talked a little bit about last week, but kind of some breaking stuff going on in the automobile world, and I get asked questions about that a lot of times because there's always something behind the scenes, or maybe it wasn't in layman's terms and stuff like that. But probably we've talked about it a couple of times on the show. One of the bigger things that happened last week is the U.S. Government and regulators approved and came to an agreement with Volkswagen on the diesel emissions scandal. That happened.
Talking the biggest money settlement I've ever seen.
It was $14.7 billion, and what you have to keep in mind, that's the settlement in the United States.
It's not even worldwide.
Yeah, I mean they've got the same problem in other countries,
wow.
and who knows?
That's true.
But it's $14.7 billion. I think the next largest settlement was like it was under $3 billion, ever to happen. And the interesting part is it sounds like a lot of cars, but when you look at the number of cars on the road, it really isn't. I mean, that affects 475,000 cars in the U.S. So,
and in the scheme of things, that's not that many.
Well, no. When you look at, look at the Takata airbag deal. I mean, we're recalling,
right.
20 plus million cars. And here we got less than 500,000 cars. We got a $14.7 billion. A little over $10 billion of that is going to be used to buy back the cars.
I was going to say, if you have one of these vehicles, what are your options now? Are you going to see some cash? Are you going to see a new vehicle? What's going on?
Yeah, you're going to have two options. I mean, one is that they will buy the vehicle back at the value when the scandal broke.
Okay.
And then, in addition to that, depending on the age of your car, they'll give you an extra $5,000 to $10,000 cash compensation.
Oh, on top of it?
On top of that.
Really?
Yeah, so
okay.
it's I mean, they did the right thing. I mean, hats off to Volkswagen, rather than...
Now, is this going to break Volkswagen or not?
I would guess probably not, or they wouldn't have agreed to it,
Yeah.
I mean...
What, Volkswagen, Porsche?
Yeah, Volkswagen, Porsche, Audi, it's a big company. I mean, they sell a lot of cars. I'm sure it'll hurt,
Right.
to spend
no
that
bonuses
a little bit.
Yeah, no bonuses for the CEO this year.
Exactly. And or the other thing is on some of those cars, they'll be able to. I mean, if you love your TDI diesel, they'll be able to correct it and fix it. But you're not gonna, they're not gonna buy it back. Then they'll just repair it for you.
All right, now the more important question: what about some of these vehicles that they're buying back? Can you get them cheap?
Right. Well, what are they going to do with them? I mean, that hasn't been announced. I haven't heard. I couldn't find anything about that.
They can't destroy them, can they?
Well, they could take them up to Boone maybe for next 4th of July. I mean, the eve of destruction.
That's what we're going to do.
There you go. But I mean, they can't resell them because they're not going to meet emission standards unless they
fix them.
They fix them. And reportedly, the fix is going to cause them to lose fuel mileage and lose power, which is what everybody loved about those cars in the first place. So, I don't know. If it's kind of like the cash for clunkers thing. I mean, who knows what they're going to do with them?
Right.
It'll be interesting to watch and see that. That no one's even talked about that yet. So, the other thing that was interesting is Toyota announced they're going to recall 1.4 million of the Prius and the Lexus models between 2010 and 2012. It's an airbag recall, which everybody's probably getting tired. Yeah, everybody's thinking, oh, it's another airbag recall. The unique thing about this is these are not Takata airbags.
Oh, different ones.
Different ones. These were made by a Swedish American company called Autoliv.
Oh.
But it's along the same similar issue.
Another thing that's really unusual is that a Prius and a Lexus would have the same airbag.
Oh, they're both the hybrids too.
Yeah, okay,
it's
yeah.
the hybrid version of the Lexus. Both Toyota company, but yeah, the airbags came from Autoliv, and it's a similar deal where they've got the moisture buildup problem and stuff going on in there. So it kind of leads you to believe, why are we having all these issues with airbags? And the answer to that is they're very complex. The airbags, one of the most complex components to manufacture on an automobile. The company that's building the airbags, I mean, they've got to have experience in chemistry, explosives, and quality control, because that's how an airbag is deployed, is when you're in a crash, electronically, they light a chemical that creates an explosion, and it's the air from that explosion that inflates the bag. It isn't just like a, air that's out of a compressor that blows it up. There's actually an explosion that rapidly, and that's where they're having problems, is keeping the chemical that creates the explosive dry over time. Yeah, it gets, so it's very complex.
So if you have one of these vehicles, take it back to your dealer?
Yep, you'll get a recall notice, in the mail. What I've been telling people, because there's so much of this going on out there, is go to safercar.gov, and in the upper right-hand corner you can click on search VIN, put your VIN number in there. If you don't know how or where to find that, I mean, get a hold of me. I'll walk you through it, and see if your car's under recall. Because again, we're going to have here's 1.4 million free airbags we got to come up with to put in these cars. It's going to take a while. I mean, to produce parts.
All right, and finally, self-driving cars.
That was in the news too. There was an unfortunate accident. The guy in Ohio, with his Tesla. Using the auto drive function, and then about a day or 2 days after that, BMW announced that they're going to mass produce a self-driving car, and they hope to have that out by 2021. But I think that's something it's definitely going to happen. Tesla's got their version, Google's got their self-driving cars. They've got roughly 24 of those. They're putting 10 to 15,000 miles a week on those cars. So it's something we're certainly going to see come down the road. But I think there's a lot of refining needs to be done there. Whether it be Tesla or Google or BMW. But that was an unfortunate thing to see happen this early in technology. But
still a ways to go. I mean, we're working on airbags, let alone trying to find cars that can drive themselves.
Yeah. What happens when we make a self-driving car and then 10 years down the road, some component from that malfunctions?
All right, as you can see, Ron stays on top of everything happening car-wise. Again, if you need any assistance with your vehicle, 225-9090 is the number you need to put in your phone in case anything happens. You can get a hold of him, and also they can get a hold of you how to ask you a question.
They can go to askronthecarguy.com, submit a question. I answer all questions.
And what's that website again, if people want to check on their vehicle?
It's website, safercar.gov.
Safercar.gov.
There it is. Thank you, Ron the Car Guy. We will be